what I see is that the food waste issue in America is a huge opportunity, and the food insecurity issue is a huge opportunity. And Blessings of Hope is this little dot in the middle trying to bridge this gap. And the question is, how big can we grow that funnel or that organization to bridge that gap? Because the food waste, according to USDA website, is 30 to 40% of all food produced in America. Welcome to Hopecast, where we share hope and inspiration about what God is doing in our lives, personally at Blessings of Hope and in the community. Today I'm joined by Aaron Fisher. Aaron's a co-founder of Blessings of Hope. He's a visionary of the organization. And we want to share some of the early days, some of the stories that we probably almost forgot about, but we want to just share some of the early inspiration, some of that kind of stuff. So it should be fun today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what was the inspiration behind Blessings of Hope? You know, why Blessings of Hope, or why?
So one of the inspirations was helping at an outreach and just falling in love with outreach and seeing the impact that it made on the people that we were giving food. And at that outreach, we were praying for people, and people's lives were getting touched. And that was that was kind of the super center of it. Like, is people's lives getting touched? That's what really inspired the Blessings of Hope.
So people's lives getting touched, and then also hearing about the waste and how we can steward the food that is being wasted, that is not necessarily a trash product. It's a good product, but it's overproduced, it's misshipped, mislabeled, getting close to expiration date. And speak a little bit into how you started hearing about that, or what were some of the early stories around that?
So one of the early stories was I was connecting with Bethesda Mission in Harrisburg, and they were telling me how they get offers for product that they have to take the whole truckload or nothing. And I was like, wow, I mean, you just need a big warehouse. It's not that complicated. Just take a big warehouse and big coolers and big freezers, and you can take the large quantities. One of the things that I found out is that's not their vision. Their vision is the outreach that they're doing. And so that helped to inspire the vision that Blessings of Hope has today.
So, after you started sharing with us some of the opportunities around food distribution back in 2007, 2008, whenever, as we were getting into a little more, talk a little bit about the first vehicles that you used to get food.
Well, so the first vehicle that we used to get food was a Plymouth Breeze. That was like, I would...
a little four-door tan car.
Yeah, I would stack that thing full and just be able to...
One thing you need to understand, when Aaron Fisher says stacked it full, there's not a lot of sailboat fuel in there. He after I fill a vehicle up, he can usually get another half a pallet in, because he has cracks and even like half of the driver's seat, he only used like half of the seat.
Because the vehicle's not full if there's airspace, sailboat fuel in there, because you can take stuff out of the boxes and put it in the little corners. And so today, seeing ministries come to the selection center and they're packing their vehicle full because maybe they drove a couple hours and they don't want to just go with half a load. It just like makes me smile to see them put that effort into reaching out in their community.
Yeah. And then in, I think it was 2008 when we got our first box truck.
Oh, that was amazing. We got a box truck. It was a 20-foot GMC 6500. And it was a 20-foot box truck with a lift gate and a reefer. That was amazing. That was a game changer for us, because prior to that we were using a car, then a 50-passenger van with a trailer, and so the box truck was just simply amazing, and it really allowed us to go pick up things an hour away in the heat of summer that are refrigerated and bring it back, and it's still cold, just the way it needs to be.
So let's talk a little bit about the warehouses that or the garages that we started in, and how that how that progressed over the years.
So the first garage was a 3-car garage. We used about two bays of the garage at first. We had a cooler and a freezer. There's a combination cooler and freezer. That was a huge blessing too. There's so many times throughout Blessings of Hope, even today, it's like, wow, God, that is amazing. And that exactly how it was with that first cooler and freezer, a 6 foot by 6 foot by 6 foot cooler. We can get 2 pallets in if we hand stacked it in. Like everything, packed in the way I pack things in. And the freezer about the same way. So we were so grateful for that cooler and freezer, and a lot of product went through there it would have been about 4 years that was our cooler and freezer.
Yeah. And then, after the first garage, we moved to a little bigger 3-car garage.
It was about twice the size of cubic airspace.
Okay.
Because it was higher, and then it had more square footage.
And then in 2010, when we committed to packing 7 boxes a week on a regular basis, when we moved into our first warehouse in Ephrata, it was back on Trout Run Road, Trout Run Business Center.
Yep.
It was back a hallway, little room in the back. Aaron still thinks that room was pretty big. I know it was big when he first walked into it.
Yeah.
But it was 3,600 square foot, and we were using half of it initially, and then within a couple of weeks we were using the whole room. But just some of the, what are some of the stories that stand out with that specific location?
With that location, that's really where we started packing more boxes. We had gotten to about 20 boxes in the 3-car garage till it was just not feasible to do it in there anymore. And that's when we set up in that was our first assembly line to pack boxes. It definitely didn't look like it does today. It was just tables, and we pushed the boxes along. Today we have a belt with that takes the boxes through, but that's not how it started.
Yeah. And then 2012, when we shipped our first semi-load of food, what do you want to share about that?
So we worked for, I think it was around 3 months to collect the product needed for that first shipment, and it was a big deal. You're shipping a whole tractor trailer load of food.
Yeah. And with that, there was a lot of relationships that were starting to develop, and you would get in somewhere, and they would sort of test the waters. How much volume can we take? How is this going to work out? And there was a lot of trust being built with some of our food donors early on, that then allowed us to take things to the next level.
And every time we moved to a bigger location, we would tell our donors and everybody, like, hey, just to let you know, we have this space now. And that would always be exciting for them, that they knew that we're growing in our capacity to utilize the food that they have. And so it was a joyful relationship over the years with donors like Four Seasons. As we kept growing, their donations kept growing, their company kept growing, so they had more things to donate, and it was we were so grateful over the years for our partners and how we can work together and make it happen
and utilize the product.
Yes.
Yep. So then in 2012 we moved into King Street.
Yeah.
What can you say about that building?
So King Street building stands out to me as, we call it the hot and cold building, because the roof, it was not insulated. So
there was basically a tin shell.
Yeah,
it was a dry space, and that was about it. I mean, if it was hot outside, it was hot in the building. If it was cold outside, it was cold in the building.
That's correct. But we did have a loading dock.
Outside.
That was a blessing, to have a loading dock to be able to, load and unload our trucks. And At that point, we didn't have any electric pallet jacks. We had everything hand pallet jacks. And so we wheeled the stuff around.
And that, if I remember correctly, that building had multiple levels. Like you had to go up a ramp to get into the room we were using.
There was lots of different ramps.
So that building wasn't feasible long term because of the extreme temperatures and dealing with food. It wasn't going to work out.
So we moved in there in December, and I believe we moved out in May because it was starting to get warm, and it was not okay to. It was we could work with it during the winter.
We knew it was going to be very temporary.
We knew it was going to be temporary.
And then after that, the Science Press building in Ephrata came up. So one of the things I remember about that building is Barbie has a picture of 3 semi-trucks, one at the dock or 2 at the dock and another one waiting to get in or something like that. And that was a huge deal because there's multiple trucks trying to unload at the same time. And that building was a blessing.
And that building, we really started doing more outreach, in town of Ephrata, and that was a huge blessing. But it also was, we also had parking challenges where there wasn't enough of parking in town necessarily. So we had to work with that, and sometimes we'd work with the Ephrata police for traffic control to keep everybody moving and flowing. It was such a blessing.
And one thing I remember about that building is we would have people actually come in and pick up a box of food there.
Yep.
And it came to the point where we were, double parking. Actually, I think we had 3 lines of traffic along the road, so it was like a one-way street whenever we had box packing, and it just wasn't going to work out long term to stay there. At that point, 2014, I think it was, when we had the contract over on Norman Road, and the tenants weren't moving out. So we had a contract to move into a 30,000 square foot facility, and it was probably 6 to 9 months, and the tenants weren't moving out, so the building wasn't becoming available. And we had already told the landlord there that Science Press that we're moving out on a certain date. Yeah. And that date started coming up, and we weren't getting anywhere to go. And then that's where we moved into Shirk Road.
And then in the meantime, they were bringing in new tenants, and so they needed that space.
Actually, let's step back a little bit. There at Science Press, the first cooler.
That was a big deal. First cooler and freezer.
It was 2,200 square foot.
Yeah, and wow, so we have pictures of that, of driving into the first cooler and doing a ribbon cutting on the first cooler. It was amazing. And so at that point then we were able to even bring tractor trailers of product in that it actually fit into our cooler. That was
What could we hold, about 2 or 3 semi-loads?
About 3 semi-loads when it was packed out. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then when we moved to Shark Road, and we tore that cooler out because we didn't want to reinstall it just temporarily. We had 10,000 square foot there at Shark Road, something like that.
Yep.
And then we had reefers for our refrigeration. So what can you tell me about Shark Road?
Well, it was a blessing to be able to be there, number one, because that we were out of options. And then we had a great assembly line to pack boxes. That was amazing. The reefers was a challenge, a pretty big challenge, because when it got warm in the summer, the reefers ran they were just running and running and running all the time, especially the freezer. And so our selection center was in the cooler, in the reefer. So the ministries needed to climb up into the cooler and walk back, and then we had to unload it. Maybe they wanted something towards the front, so we had to unload a bunch of skids, get out what they wanted, put the stuff back in. A lot of that happened.
There was a lot of effort that went into making it happen with very unpleasant situations at that time. So Thank you for pressing through and for doing what needed to be done.
You're welcome.
And I think it was summer 2015, we finally saw that this other deal was not going to come through because the tenants weren't moving out. And that's when we heard about the place on Eagle Drive, got a contract and moved into there. Was it March of 2016?
Yes, I believe.
I think it was spring of 2016. We moved in there at Eagle Drive, and that building was amazing. There was coolers and freezers already there.
It
It was just a tremendous blessing.
that was a wow God moment. Like, this is amazing. Like, we went from refrigerator trailers to coolers and freezers in the building. That is
And we had
huge
3
difference.
docks.
And we had 3 docks. Wow.
Yeah. Going right into the warehouse.
Yeah.
So that was a huge blessing, that building. And we were there for 3 years. Got to the point where we simply wasn't feasible anymore. Anytime we had volunteer shifts, like for packing boxes, which was on Wednesday mornings, I think it was, the neighbors couldn't get any trucks in because our volunteers would just completely pack out the parking lot.
Yep.
At that point, we had minister selection 3 days a week, I think it was, in the mornings. I think we had added a Saturday then towards the end of our stay there. So we were usually open from 8 to 2, I believe it was,
Yep.
3 days a week. Because whenever we had box packing, we would have to move everything from the warehouse over into the selection center side of the building, because we would pack boxes in the warehouse and we had to clean that out. So there was a lot of, shuttling stuff back and forth, but looking back, it's just amazing to see how God just, helped us walk through the processes and, get things in place, and the people that he brought into the ministry at the time. And it's just been incredible.
Right. And then 2019,
Yeah.
we were we were running out of space and options because we needed more space. But so then we moved into,
Well, basically, there at Eagle Drive, we had to either do a 5-year lease extension or move out, because the property had gotten sold while we were there, and the new tenant needed the space. They had also bought a vacant lot in that same building, in that same complex, and they were either going to build a new building or move into the building we were in. So we either had to do a 5-year lease extension or move out.
Right. And
there was just no way we could do a 5-year lease extension, because we were already maxed out in the warehouse. We were already maxed out on parking. It's just like, it was a blessing while we were there, but we had literally outgrown the building.
Right.
And then that's when the Becker Road property came up for sale, summer of 2019. And just the miracles around how God brought that together, and that we were even able to purchase it and move into it, renovate it. I know the first time we walked through that building, it was like, okay, are we crazy even thinking about this building? Because it was a big, dirty warehouse. And you almost got lost in some of those back rooms trying to navigate your way around it. And
Yep.
What comes to you when you think about those early days of Becker Road?
So starting the process of figuring out where we can do what and how this can flow and everything, it was really the building was way bigger than what we thought we needed at the moment. So we renovated about half of the building, and that was great. There was coolers in the building already. That was great.
That was huge.
Wow, that was huge. And so we were able to clean it up, put new concrete some places, grind the concrete, make it nice and smooth. Some places it was painted.
Put new lights in.
Paint
new
the
lights interior. Yeah.
And then we moved in end of 2019.
December 2019, we moved into that warehouse, and just the transformation that happened from when we bought it in August to December, it was just incredible.
Yeah.
And we had a great team to work with, when we were doing the renovations, design team, and even just some of the flows that you see of how everything flows through the warehouse, that was very intentional. And even to the point where our designer told us, if you need to move a door, move the door to fit your flows. Don't just try to make your flows fit where the doors are. And that was a huge blessing for us, because initially we were thinking we would try to make the existing doors and stuff work, but having the right team on board to say no, if your flow says it needs to be here, we can easily move that door over here. And looking back, it was definitely the right decision.
Yeah, I agree. That was a huge word of wisdom that we got from one of the team. Just he was like, if we don't move this door and we keep going around this for the next 20 years, we're going to spend way more in labor and frustration
Yeah.
than if we just move the door. It's not that complicated.
So back to the Becker Road facility, we literally had meetings about renting out a part of that, and it was just a huge building when we moved into it. We also have plans on paper to put a wall in our big cooler because we didn't want to waste energy cooling the whole room. We were just going to cool half of it. And thankfully, we never got the wall put in because we outgrew the building so fast, and it was just been amazing.
Yeah, and then 2020, COVID was introduced, and we had to make a decision of what are we gonna do. Like, are we gonna push forward or are we gonna pull back? Where is this gonna go? And so we had a meeting and we prayed, and they was like, how are we gonna navigate this? And we felt like the Lord was saying to push forward.
Yep. To give out food until we either run out of food or run out of money to operate. And it was just amazing some of the experiences in 2020 around God moments of how He would literally fill the warehouse in a day or two, and just the product that became available that was top quality product, and just being able to steward those resources that were literally being wasted by the semi-loads. I'm thinking of one example. We were offered 13 semi-loads of product, and we had just gotten a few extra loads in that morning, and we told the donor that we want to give us a little bit of time to think about it. We'll get back to him. In about 2 hours later, they had already sent 6 loads to the landfill, and of the was it 8 loads that we did get, there was, perfect product. It was, pallets of salmon, big slabs of salmon with a $35 price tag on it, stuff like that. And it was just amazing. And this was fresh product that had never gone to the store. And it was, with the whole disruption of COVID and just being able to utilize tremendous value of product.
And so we switched to pretty much packing boxes for everything that went out so that the churches can do outreaches with boxes, and not where the people don't need to come in to the church to select their stuff. So we were packing between 4,000 and 6,000 boxes most days. Our biggest day we packed 6,700 boxes, and a tractor trailer load is 1,000 boxes. So almost 7 tractor trailers of boxes were packed in one day.
Mm-hmm. And we look back in 2020, it was like end of 2019, we had discussions about renting out a part of this warehouse. By spring, early summer of 2020, we were out of space, and we put up a tent on the concrete pad. It was about a 10,000 square foot tent, and then we had additional trailers for storage. The most I counted, we had 52 trailers on our lot. Most of them were for storage. There was some out on the road, but. And just the tremendous explosion that God brought in 2020,
right?
And it's just some of the stories that challenges, opportunities that we had to navigate through that. Weekend before Thanksgiving of 2020, we sent out 42 trucks, I believe it was, to do deliveries. And that was on top of our selection center. So. It was incredible. And then on top of that, we had some challenges with the township. When we moved in there at Becker Road, 2019, we had served 68 organizations, and I had told the township that I expect we could serve 100, maybe 120 here in the next year or two. With 2020, we served over 1,200 organizations, and they were sure we're lying to them. And I'm not sure, why God did that or what God had in mind, but it was just incredible to see that the outpouring of the community support and the being able to steward those resources that were available. And we have since gotten everything into compliance there at Warwick Township, but it was a bit of a struggle there in 2020, 2021. And then 2021 rolls around. East Petersburg moved into that in September of 2021, I believe it was. And that was mainly so we can empty out trailers, so we can see what we have. There again, it was a huge savings in putting our product into a warehouse from what we had been spending on renting trailers. It was a big savings there.
So one of the reasons that we were using so many trailers is we didn't want to commit to a building, and COVID's here for 2 months, and then it leaves again, and then it goes back to normal, and we don't need another building. So we were in this kind of this balance where we kept renting more trailers because of the volume, and then just as we were going along, finally it got to the place where, you know what, things are never going to go back to where they were before.
Yeah,
we're going to move forward from here. So that's why it was a slow process.
Yeah. And another thing that we skipped was September of 2020. We opened up our selection center in Kentucky.
Right.
We had some friends down there, the Gingriches there in Kentucky, that for a number of years, we've known them since early on in our ministry days, and they kept telling us they want to do a Blessings of Hope in Kentucky.
Yep.
And we kept telling them that we need to get Lancaster established first. We need to get our home base established, make sure that we have everything we need to, make sure that we're able to keep operating here. And in 2020, they requested a meeting with us. So they drove up from Kentucky. They had one question for us. And that question was, how will you know when you're established? And we had to admit that with where God was taking things, it's like, I think we're ready to step out and try a satellite location. I think we had around 5 organizations the first week that we had served out of our Campbellsville, Kentucky location. Last year, in 2023, we served right around 200 organizations in the Tennessee, Kentucky region. It's been a huge blessing just to go into another area and bring the selection center model there, and to see the community just connect with the vision, and empowering hundreds of organizations that we've literally in a new area, and just to see them impacting their community. It's just been great. Anything else you want to share about Kentucky?
So it was a process. The first building we were in Kentucky was a fairly small space, and this is where we're going to start. And then in 2022, we bought a building down in Kentucky and renovated that, and we are now operating out of the new facility.
Yeah. So 315 Bradfordsville Road, Campbellsville, Kentucky is our Kentucky location. We have additional land there that at some point we're hoping to expand into, actually have a distribution center serving more areas in Kentucky. I think we should touch a little bit on Mayfield, Kentucky. That was 2022.
2020. The tornado happened in 2020, December 2021.
December 2021, when the tornado went through Mayfield, there was a tremendous need for support in that area. Basically wiped Mayfield, Kentucky off the map. And just the extreme devastation in that region. And so we were able to ship food down into that area. And then Aaron and his family were actually able to manage the food distribution from the Mayfield, Kentucky Fairgrounds for 6 months.
Yeah. So we went down to help for maybe 2 weeks, and we ended up staying about 6 months, because what we encountered was that they needed management in the donation, not just food, in the donation area where people were bringing product in. Like, where do we go with it? Mm-hmm. And so we were able to, with the help of a lot of volunteers, pull it together and be able to manage it and that it can be utilized.
Yeah. And one of the things that happened in a situation like Mayfield, Kentucky, is you have all these people locally that are dealing with their own deaths, their catastrophes, their houses being gone. And what we saw is, if we can come in as an outside organization or from another area and help steward those resources, we can have an impact on the community. And it was actually pretty amazing, because early on, FEMA came in to try to shut things down. And because of our commitment of standing with the local community, a local judge overruled them and just told them that, no, this is a local effort. This is not a federal effort. And because FEMA was ready to start filling dumpsters and just getting rid of all the donations that were coming in. But because of our commitment of being there and stewarding the resources, we were able to utilize hundreds of loads of product that would then be used to bless the community.
Right.
It's just incredible to see how God used that.
Yeah. It was a huge play. It was a struggle and a blessing at the same time.
Yeah.
So looking back at it, it's like, wow, God did a lot of great things. In the moment, there was a lot of struggle. We need to press, get through a lot of different areas that we're gonna be here with the community. We're not gonna leave them sit and things like that.
Yeah. And even the Lyndhurst Resort, they were a huge blessing of housing the volunteers and actually, it's almost establishing like a base for us in that community. So if you ever need a good place to vacation, Lyndhurst Resort in
Murray, Kentucky.
Murray, Kentucky. So
right on the lake. That's great.
And then after that, 2022, when we opened up in Lancaster, our selection center in Lancaster, when we separated out the selection center from the warehouse. So now we have a standalone, a food selection center there at Lancaster. And that's just been tremendous. The growth that we've seen in that avenue, just in the last 2 years is just amazing. And last year we had over 1,400 organizations that we serve with food, and it's all thanks to the community for your volunteer support, donation support, prayer support, food donors, and our tremendous team of employees here at Blessings of Hope. It's just amazing to see who God brings together for His glory, and how that can be used to impact society for His kingdom.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I know we covered a lot here. It's probably one of the longer Hopecasts that we've done, but it's just as we started talking, it's just amazing to see what we wasn't sure what's going to come out. Actually, I do want to bring up one more, which is the E-Town project, which we started that a little over a year ago. That property at this point is we did run into some financial challenges around that. We have completely redeveloped how we are looking to fund our capital expansions, because literally we believe that Blessings of Hope has the option of being a national organization if we can build the infrastructure to support that. What I see is that the food waste issue in America is a huge opportunity, and the food insecurity issue is a huge opportunity. And Blessings of Hope is this little dot in the middle trying to bridge this gap. And the question is, how big can we grow that funnel or that organization to bridge that gap? Because the food waste, according to USDA website, is 30 to 40% of all food produced in America. And the food insecurity issue is approximately 50 to 60 million people in this country. And then globally, it's just tremendously above beyond that. So the question is, how fast can we as Blessings of Hope, we as the community, we as people that want to see an impact for God's kingdom, how fast can we build the infrastructure that we need to utilize the food that is being wasted, get it to people that need it, and impact their lives with hope? That's the question we come up against. Right. And as we pray about things, as God shows us ways to put new systems into place, we're always looking for feedback, always looking for ways to do things better. So if you see something that we can improve on, love to hear your feedback. BlessingsofHope.com, under the About Us tab, there is a feedback form that comes directly to the executive team, and we see those responses. Or you can email me directly, david.lapp@blessingsofhope.com. I'm happy to answer any questions. If there are things you don't understand, you think we're doing it wrong, happy to give account for what we do. Best of our ability, we are here to serve God and His kingdom and to make an impact on society for God's kingdom. So that's where we're at today, and we are committed to being a blessing to the community.
So a final thought that I have is, it's about stewardship and impact. So how can we steward the resources to have an impact in people's lives? Because the end of the goal is to impact people's lives for Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we help people change their life and bring in the food as a tool, as a piece of it, and then bringing impact and change to people's lives?
So we see Blessing of Hope as two pieces. We have the blessing side of Blessing of Hope, which is the food. There is so many blessings that get distributed on a daily basis, but then there's also the hope side. We don't want to miss the hope. If we can bring the hope of Jesus Christ to people where they don't need to stay in their situations, where they can grow beyond where they currently are. We don't want to become just the next handout that people become dependent on. We want to be the hand up that helps them overcome the challenges in life, that helps them be there for the next generation and lead their families in a godly way. So that's our heart behind why we do what we do. So anything you want to share here as we wrap it up?
I'm good.
Thank you for being a part of Hopecast today. Thank you for joining us. I'm David Lapp, CEO at Blessings of Hope. God bless you, and remember that you can bring hope to the people that you meet every day.
Thank you for watching this episode of Hopecast. We hope you enjoyed it. Check out all the links in the description below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.